Hello guys, sorry I wasn't able to make it to class today, um, but here's a video to help you understand today and this week's assignment. So if you go to our Moodle page under week 3, there's a whole bunch of files that I want you to download. So go ahead and download all of these files. Basically this homework 3 PDF is the instructions how to do everything. I'm going to walk through how to do everything with you. And so when you have all those downloaded, go ahead and save them to your H drive. Then you can always have them later. So go ahead and go to your documents and then go from downloads, all these files from Moodle. Just go ahead and copy those and then go to your H drive. It should say your name. And then what I'm going to do is make a folder. So I'm just going to call it Fall 2020. So, and then just paste all of those files on your H drive. All right, so you can always have referencing to them. So go ahead and open up this homework 3 PDF, and that's what this guy is. And this is the instructions on how to do this week's assignment. So basically I'm going to go through this with you and demonstrate how to do all this. So go ahead and open the file called template DWG. What we're going to do is change this drawing file. See how it says DWG? It's a drawing file. We're going to change it, and I want you to modify it to have your own name on the layout tabs. So you're going to personalize the drawing, and then you're going to save it as a template file, so a DWT. And so that way, when you start a new drawing, you can have your personalized template, and then you can use that for the rest of your semester. You don't have to type in your name every week. So we're going to go ahead and open up the template drawing. Open. Sometimes it doesn't like to open, so you may have to open up Civil 3D first and then go within there and go to the open and then reference back to your H drive, computer, H drive, fall 2020, template. All right, go ahead and open this guy up. It should bring you automatically to this letter layout tab. And we don't have to worry about all these other ones, just change the first two. So go to this letter layout and then double click in here. And then in this attribute here, this tag project, or this value here, so where it says my name, Logan Moore, just change that to your name. All right, so I'm just gonna do John Doe as an example. All right, and you wanna make sure it's all pretty, so. And then go ahead and hit OK, John Doe. All right, and then do the same thing with this 11 by 17. So go ahead and double click in here, change the property to your name. Don't put in John Doe, put your name. All right, John Doe is not really my name, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then the key thing here is to save it as a different file type. Don't just hit save or it'll keep it as a drawing. So go ahead and hit file, save as, other formats, and then go to the file type and go to a AutoCAD drawing template. All right, DWT. And make sure to go back to your H drive. So we are going to go, save it on the H drive so you can find it later, because if not, you will not be able to because of this whole virtual machine thing. All right. So just call it John Doe, or your name, template. All right. Make sure you have a DWT. All right. So go ahead and hit save. Description, you can just leave that blank, or you can type in a description if you really want to. Hit OK. All right. Now you can close out of this guy. So if you're gonna make a new drawing and you want to use that template, you can just go File, New, and then it's looking for a template. So it says Select Template in this folder here, or this window. So go back to that same place where you saved it, Fall 2020, John Doe template, open. All right. So there it has the name that we just changed. And this is a DWG file, not a GWT file, right? We're creating a drawing from the template, so it should be a DWG, all right? So that is the first part of the assignment for this week, to set up our template correctly and save it to the H drive so then you can use it later, all right? So, all right, the next step is to complete the sketch of problem P8-1 on page 215. So that will be another PDF that is in this folder here. So page 215. This is straight out of a book, which is at the college right now. So basically this has to do with bearings and distances. If you've taken Astrid's class, or if you're going to take Astrid's class, this will help you understand a little bit. So basically north 3 degrees, 45 minutes east at a distance of 560.5, all right? So basically what we're gonna do, I don't know if you've ever used AutoCAD to draw like this, but all right. So we have our template, this is our new drawing, all right? So go into model space. So you can just hit a polyline, so PL, enter. And you can basically just click anywhere on the screen, all right? So this is where you can type in the bearings and distances. So what I'm going to do is actually open this guy up. I'm going to put it on my other screen, or just part of the screen, I guess. Yeah, I'll just put it right here. All right. So this is where you want to type in the @ symbol. So @ 560. Ooh, my numlock is on or off. At 560 point, what was it? 0.5, right? At 560.5, and then you hit the less than symbol, so shift comma for the less than symbol. And this is your angle. So now you want to look at the angle, so then you hit N 3D 45 minutes east. All right, so go back to here at, what was it? It might be helpful to actually print this out so you don't have to keep opening and swapping. So N, I'm just gonna write it down here on my desk. So a good pencil. N3D 45 minutes east. All right. 560.5. All right. So you have the 560.5, and this is where you go N for north, 3D for 3 degrees, 45 minutes, which is like the apostrophe symbol, and then east. Boom. So if you zoom in, ooh, oh, I think I'm zooming out. Okay. And that did it work? Let me try it again. At 560.5 less than N 3D 45 apostrophe E. All right, that looks better. So that's what the first line should be. All right. And then you can go ahead and do the rest of these. So I'm going to write down this next one. So what we're going to have to type in for the next one is @ and then do our distance. So 619.2. and then the symbol less than for the angle, and then N0D 15 apostrophe W for our angle. All right. So just go to at 619.2 less than N0D 15 apostrophe W. Boom. So that is the next line on our property boundary. All right. And I know that this first one was a mistake, so I'm going to just delete that line. All right. So basically, you can go ahead and do all of those the same way. And it should bring you close to the beginning of where you started. It won't be exactly on the exact same point as where you started. But you will find out that when you're actually out surveying and you go do this, you may not end up exactly where you thought you were going to be, just due to all the errors in your angles and distances when you're making a shape. It's pretty hard to actually make it 100% accurate, but you will find out how to calculate the error based on the distances and divide it out into correct your coordinates of your property boundary. So yep, you can go ahead and do that. And I'm not going to go ahead and do all of it because that'll take a while. But that is the second part of the assignment. I wonder if I can show you what it should look like when you're done. See if I can find the old version from last semester for you. Week 3, is this it? I believe so. Week 3, let's see. Open. I can't open it like that. Open it like this. All right. I'll show you what it should look like. Week 3. Boom. So it appears that, yeah, it should go like this. And I guess it looks like that's how I did it last time. I actually imported the coordinates as an image, which could be pretty helpful. So if you want to know how to do that, instead of having to print it off, what you can do, let's go back here. You can insert the image. So go to this Insert tab up here. And then you can go to Attach. And then go to that file, the PDF. Nope, that's not it. Fall 2020. All files. All right. Page 215, open. Okay. It looks like it moved my PDF way down here. It didn't specify where I wanted it. But yeah, that's another way you can bring this guy in your drawing. If you want to have it right there and not have to print it out. And if you want to make this guy bigger, you can just scale it here. So let's go 100. There. So you can use that as a reference within your drawing. And then when you're done drawing all that up, go ahead and print it off. So what you should do is go to this letter tab and then double click in your viewport to open it, to go into your model space and go ahead and unlock the viewport. And what you can do is just hit Z enter, E enter, zoom extents. and then set up your viewport to where you want it. So let's say, nope, that's too far. Maybe a little more zoomed out than that. Let's try 1,000. It's a little far. 500. Yeah, that might work. And then you can go ahead and when you have all that done, it should look something like this, right? You have all your bearings and distances, all right? And the way that I labeled these is that you can go to your annotate tab and you should be able to label your lines here. So that's another way to double check if your bearings and distances are correct. So if I remember correctly, multiple segments, let's see what happens here. No. Parcel, multiple segments. Frick. Okay, yeah, I know what happened. It made labels, they're just very small. All right. So if you want to change your labels, what you can do actually is right here. If you go back, yeah, see the labels showed up here with a bigger scale than your model space because of the annotation scale. So if you want the letters to show up bigger in model space, you need to go to your viewport and see what scale this guy's at. So right now it's at 1 inch equals 500 feet, right? So you can go back to model space and then change that so it's the same. So 1 inch equals 500 feet. And then the text should be the same in model space as it is on paper space, right? So when you have all your labels and your distances and all that, it should look something like this. And it looks like this one is at the scale 200 feet. So that might work out better for you guys also. So you may want to change this guy to 200, bloop, like that. And change this guy to 200 also, like that. All right. And it looks like I actually printed this on 11 by 17. So sorry for misleading you. You may want to do that on 11 by 17 so it fits. So you can double click in here, change this guy to 200, and then just do Z enter, E enter, zoom extents, 200, lock the viewport, and there she is, okay? So you can do that, and it should look like this. If you wanna, here's just a reminder on how to do the whole label thing. So let's say you did the next section, right? So let's do the third one. Starting here at the previous point, all right? So the third one is at 425.3 less than N45D 00 apostrophe E, right? Boom. There's the next segment of the parcel, property line, whatever you want to call it. If you want to add your label, you can go ahead and hit add labels, parcel, single segment, because we're just doing one. And then boom, there it is. And that's how you can double check if it's right, if it matches, okay? So go ahead and do that with the rest. All right, what's the next part? Okay, oh yeah, I want you to add a north arrow and a scale before you print that guy. So right here, we want to go and hit this north arrow. And if you were trying to use normal AutoCAD, not Civil 3D, you will not be able to find this, okay? You need to make sure and use Civil 3D and go to north arrow. All right. And you can just pick one of these, whichever one you like best. I like this one. It's pretty simple. And then it asks you to select a viewport. So you can just click on your viewport right here. All right. And it's pretty small. So what you can do is you can select this guy and then drag this little arrow. And it will make it bigger. Yep. All right. Like that. So there is the north arrow. All right. And we want to do the same thing with the scale bar. If you find that you're still using Civil 3D and these tools are missing, you may be within your viewport. So you need to double click into Paperspace, or you can just hit PS Enter and it'll swap back to Paperspace. And then you have all these tools here. So the scale bar, and you can use any of these really. And then select your viewport just like you did with the north arrow. And so we know that our viewport is 1 inch equals 200 feet, right? Because that's what our viewport was. So type in 200 and change this guy to feet and hit OK. Bloop. All right. So in theory, when you print this on paper, if you're actually using 11 by 17 paper, this should be 1 inch. Kind of like how our assignments were last week or 2 weeks ago. So if I want to double check before I print this, what I can do is make sure I'm in Paperspace and hit a C for circle, or you can use the disk command, whatever you want to do. And just click there, and if you notice that in its properties, the radius is 1, that means that you are golden. It should be 1 inch on paper, all right? So that is how you add a north arrow and a scale to your layout tab, and you assign it to your viewport, all right? So what is the next part of the assignment? Pen tables. Okay, this one's gonna be fun. Okay. All right, looks like the pen tables and the images are the only ones left, okay? So, all right. So what I want you to do is open up the pen tables drawing. So go back to your files that you downloaded from Moodle. Go back to this pen tables drawing here. Oh yeah, I can't open it directly. So I need to go back into Civil 3D. Fall 2020. Pen tables. All right. Open this bad boy up. Should look like this. So pen tables are interesting things because back in the day before printers were a big thing, basically literally you would have a machine that actually had different colored and sizes of pens that were assigned to print individually. So you'd have a pen literally mounted to a CNC type thing where it would know where to go, and it would literally draw with a pen. So that's what the pen table references to. So AutoCAD uses pen tables to assign different widths, different colors, different shades to your layers, all right? So you can set up your layers. If they are on the certain layer, they will print at a certain shade with a certain thickness, and then you can get your desired print, basically. Because you may not want every line to be the same thickness or darkness or width. And yeah, that's how you change it, is with pen tables, okay? So I'm gonna walk you through this assignment. Alrighty. So what you need to do is type options, alrighty. So go ahead and type options, enter. It should bring you this menu, alrighty. Let me see what the next step is. Plot and publish tab, okay? So we're gonna go over here to plot and publish, okay? And I believe we're going to go to this plot style table settings menu. All right. Yep, that's what the instructions say. Alrighty, so go ahead and click on that guy. Add or edit plot style tables. Let me just double check so I'm not misleading you. Okay, CTB file. Add or edit. So I want you to go to this guy, this CTB file, labeled ACAD. Alrighty. So this one should be within this folder tree. Alrighty. And go ahead and open that guy up. So just double click on this. And you may have to wait a second, like I am. Alrighty. And so basically, this is showing you the pen tables. All right. So this is the pen table acad.ctb. Okay. So basically, these are all the different colors that you can have, and you can assign them to different settings. All right. So you can either change them here in the table view, or you can change them in the form view. Depending on what you like, you can use either one of these menus. All righty. They both pretty much do the same thing. It's just a different way to look at it. So let me go back to the instructions and see which ones we need to change. Okay. So if you look at this guy, this, let me zoom in. Okay. So I want you to change the color number 1 to UOC, the line weight to 0.01, screening 100%, and line type UOL. All right. So in here, color 1, UOC is use object color. So we're not going to change anything with that guy because it's already to the right setting. Line weight. So you can go here, instead of having use object line weight, we're going to change it to 0.01. 0.01. And if you notice that there is no 0.01, which there is not, I believe you can edit line weights here, okay? So you can go to inches, right? We want this guy to be in inches. Let's see if there's a 0.01 in inches. Nope, almost. Edit line weight, 0.01 inches. We're going to create our own line weight, all right? So then you can select 0.01 that we just created. Alrighty. Screening, we want to leave that at 100%. Line type, okay, use object line type. Okay, so we only changed this guy to 0.01, and that was it for that one. Okay, so number 2, we're going to change that guy to black, change the line weight to 0.005, and then leave the other settings the same. So you can either do that here in this color 2, or you can go to the form view, select color 2, all right, color, change it to black. Line weight, change it to 0.005. So if your line weight doesn't show up, which this one does not, you can go to edit line weights. Edit line weight, 0.005. Okay. 0.005 should now be here. Right here, 0.005. Okay. And go ahead and change all of those things. So like, for example, this light purple, number 191, you can either scroll all the way over here for 191, and change its settings. Bloop, bloop, bloop. There it is. Or you can go over here, scroll down to 191. All right. See, 191. All right. So you can change that one to black. Yeah, you get the idea, right? I guess the screening is another one that I didn't go over, and then the dashed, okay? So let's say I'm doing this one, all right? Red number 10. And I want the line type to be dashed. You just change this guy to dashed. Pretty simple. Right? Or if you're in the table view, you can go here, change it to dashed. And if you want to do the screening, 50%, you just go here and type in 50. All right. And when you do all of that, change all of these to match this little table here. Hit save as. All right. So you don't modify the original one. And you can just save it as like my pen table. Okay. And you can save it here, but it'd probably be best to save it on the H drive so then you have access to it later. Okay. So go into your fall 2020 folder, my pen table, CTB, save. Okay. Save and close. Okay, so then when you do all that and you set it up right, you should be able to print this this drawing here with that pen table. Okay, so if I'm going to print this guy, okay, so this is where you actually go find your pen table. New. You can go in here. General. My pen table CTB. So apparently it found it automatically, but let me go back to the instructions to double check if that always happens or if you may have issues with that. Okay. So I guess it does remember it. Okay, my pen table. Yes. So if you want to save it as a PDF, or if you're actually at the college, you can choose the printer you want. Or if you can do it remotely, you can do DWG to PDF. Okay. Preview. Yes. So it looks like it didn't quite work exactly because this should be a thinner line, or this should be thicker than that one, right? Because the width should change. But once you set it up right, it should work. I think this one's referencing, oh yeah, that's because I didn't actually change all the things in that table. So once you actually do set it up right according to this table here, it should print according to how those settings are. And so since I didn't actually go through everything, it won't print correctly. But when you guys do it, I want you to go through everything, all these colors, set up all the settings, and go ahead and print it. You can print it to a PDF, or you could just print it at the college, and it should print according to that pen table. Alrighty. Okay. What else is on the instructions? Okay. All right. One more thing we're going to do this week is we're going to learn how to insert photographs, kind of patch them together and scale them to scale. All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start a new drawing. So you can save this guy. All right. I'm not going to because I didn't actually do it correctly. I just skipped through it. But you guys want to save that. All right. I'm going to close out of this. close out of this guy. All right. I'm going to start a new file with my template that we made earlier. Okay. So new from template, go back to the H drive, the one I just made earlier, John Doe template. This one's going to have your name, obviously. All right. Okay. So go into model space, and we're going to go back to this insert thing here. All right. So go ahead and hit attach. And what we're going to do is insert these pictures here. So we have Cody. Looks like this one didn't completely download, and we have Irma Flats. So I'm going to start off with this Cody. And then hit OK. And I'm just going to hit 0, 0, so it brings it here. Scale factor, for now, I'm just going to hit 1. Okay. All right, so there's the first picture for Cody. Okay. I'm going to insert the other one. So Irma Flats, okay. And then I'm going to put this one right next to it. And hit enter. And oh, that's kind of interesting because the river looks like it actually lines up, but I know for a fact that this reservoir is on this side of Cody. This is literally a map of Cody. So what we're going to have to do is move this picture to the west or left of this first picture. Okay. So what we can do is just use our basic modify tools and just move it over. Okay. And we're going to want to line up these section and township lines. Okay. So let's see if we have a decent reference that overlaps. I guess I might as well bring in that third picture. So let me re-download it since apparently it didn't work right. I think it's the Indian Pass. All right, let's see if it'll download. Okay. So I believe this one should be farther down, farther south. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move it down. And while that thing's downloading, I'll show you how to scale these pictures. So if you guys remember how sections are, basically a section is a square mile, okay? So if you look at this section 25 of this township, right? This little dotted red line here is a square mile, okay? So if we want to scale this picture to be to scale in model space, what we can do is draw a line that is a mile long, okay? So I'm gonna hit PL to start the polyline command. And I'm going to start at the corner of one of these sections. Let's just go up here to the top so it's easy to find. And I'm going to zoom into right here, the middle of this guy, all right? And if we want our, image to be perfectly, east and west, north and south, we want to have ortho on so it goes at a right angle, all right? And then we can type in 5,280 as our distance. All right, so that is a mile in our drawing, okay? The question is it a mile in our picture? No. See how much longer this line is? It is very long. So we need to scale this picture according to the line. So what you can do is select your picture, type in the scale command, click on the beginning of our line, which was right here, okay? And then it's asking you for a scale factor. So you can either do copy or reference. What we're gonna do is use a reference, so just hit R, enter. So we're gonna click that same point again. And then what we're going to do is click the next intersection at the end of that section, okay? So go ahead and click on this guy. And you may want to turn off your OSNAP because it might snap to the wrong place. And then go ahead and click at to the end of your mile-long line here. Oh, apparently I didn't like my last click. I'm going to exit this command real fast and start over, okay? So select the scale, or the picture, type in scale, the base point, go to the beginning of our line, okay, right here, turn on OSNAP, snap to the end, bloom, turn off OSNAP. Oh, hit R actually for the reference. Hit that same base point again. All right, I'm going to turn off OSNAP now. I'm going to pan over to this red line here. So this is where the end of the mile is on the picture. And then we actually want to zoom out and pan to the end of our mile-long line over here. Turn back on OSNAP. Or you can just zoom in and get it pretty close. All right. And then boom, it scaled the image. So basically, we have the distance pretty dang close. We just do not have the angle. So this red line is not flat in model space compared to our line, right? So what we can do is select this guy, and what we can use is the align tool. So we know that this one's pretty much dead on, right? So we can just turn on our OSNAP. We can just click this guy twice because it's in the right place. Second source point, we want to align where these lines meet here with this guy. And then just hit enter. We don't care about the third source point. Boom, look at that. It rotated it. It aligned our red line with the mile-long polyline. So that is how you scale an image to scale in model space, all right? So we want to use the align tool and the scale tool also with our other picture, okay? So we need to find out where the other picture is, first of all, since we didn't scale that one yet. Where did it go? It's over here. Okay, it is very small. It's over here. Do the same trick. All right. So I'm going to draw another line at the intersection of one of these sections. Okay. Let's do one that's easy to find. Let's see, where is an easy to find section line? Let's go right here. Okay, right below where it says Irma, I'm just going to choose this one over here. So I got my polyline command started. I'm going to go to this intersection here. Make sure ortho's on, so we say nice and flat, and then type in 5,280. And you can escape the command. Now I want to scale our picture, right? So select this guy. Boop. And what you can do, instead of actually using the scale command, we can just skip right to the align command on this one. All right. So I have my picture selected. I'm going to type align. Okay. And then our first point is already in the right place. So just double click on that guy and as the source and the destination. And then the second source point, we want to go to the end of the section line, which is, where is it? Back. Oh, it looks like it's right here, actually. Right here. It's kind of interesting. Looks like there's a highway right on the section line, so that's kind of confusing. Maybe you use a different point than I did. So I'm going to click right here, And I'm going to actually select the end of my mile-long line over here. What the heck? It's not even zooming anymore. Gosh, okay. Maybe it's best to use the scale command first, since the align doesn't like to zoom. I'm gonna try it again. All right. Align source point. I'm going to use the same point as the source and destination. Okay. Second source point. I'm going to turn off OSNAP. Here. And the destination. Whoa. Actually, I went way too far. Oh, no, I didn't. It will be here at the end of this line. And then hit enter. Scale object based on alignment points. Hit Y for yes. And it won't only align, it will also scale. Okay, so that's a way to skip the scale tool and then using the align tool. Just use the align tool and just hit yes to the scale option. Okay, so now both of these pictures are to scale and they're rotated correctly. So now we just need to line them up with each other. So we can move this guy down here because I know it is southwest of Cody. I'm going to turn off my ortho and go down here. All right, maybe my other picture was done downloading. Let's go back. Yep, it did. Okay. Show in folder. I'm going to copy, put it on the H drive. Apparently I didn't copy correctly last time. Fall 2020. Paste. Okay. All right. Let's re-import this guy. All right. So import the or attach the new reference. So attach Indian Pass. Open. Okay. So I'm going to hit this guy, and I'm actually just going to generally scale it because I already know it's got to be a lot bigger than how it was. All right. So we can move this guy down away from the others, and let's go through the same align process. Okay. So find one of these section lines where you know there's a beginning and an end clearly. So I'm going to use my polyline command. Go to one of these intersections, turn on ortho, and then type in 5,280 for a mile. All right. Select my image, type in align. Okay. Turn on my OSNAP, make sure that guy's on. Okay. Source point, destination point, since it's pretty much where we want it. Turn off OSNAP. All right. So my second source point will be here, this intersection, and the destination will be here on the end. Okay. And hit enter to skip the third. Hit Y for yes, I want to scale it. Boom, and it should rotate and scale your image. All right, and then you can just delete your little line. It served its purpose. All righty. So now we just got to line up these pictures where they're supposed to be. And we can see that out here by Beck Lake seems to align with this guy. So we have range 102 west, range 101 west, range 102 west, range 101 west. Okay. So we know that guy is supposed to line up with this guy. So we can just move this guy over. Maybe turn off ortho for this. Yep. And I'm going to move it down a little bit so I can see better. All right. Move. Move. All right. So what you can do is that align tool here in this situation also. Okay. So the first image overlaps with this second image a little bit. As you can see, some of these letters are repeated, right? This W and that W are the same. So we can use the align tool again. Okay. So use the align. What we're going to do is select this bottom picture because we're going to align it with the top one. Okay. So the first source point, let's just click on this top of the W right here. Second destination, top of the W of the upper picture. Okay, like that. Second source point, let's go this intersection of the township or the range or the section, I mean, and right there. Boom. And if you want to, you can do a third. And it's actually more accurate if you spread these guys apart a little bit. So let's go way, let's see how far. Just gonna make sure that these are, yep, okay. Let's go to the intersection of this little creek right here and this section line right there and right there. Boom. All right. And then you, actually, it didn't look like it quite moved it how I wanted it to. So let's undo that actually. Let's try again. Okay. The line. Just do it 2 this time. So top of the W, top of this W. Okay. Second point. Let's go the bottom of this 7 and the bottom of this 7. I'm going to skip the third point, and I don't want to scale it because I already know it's pretty much to scale. Okay. So yeah, those lines don't look that amazing. So that is where you'd want to align things that are farther apart because it may be more accurate. So let's try that for the third time. Okay. So let's go with something really far away as references. So let's go right here, okay? Align. Let's align this bottom one. Okay, let's do this intersection here on this edge with this intersection here, okay? Let's do one on the complete opposite side so it has a better reference. Alrighty. So let's go with this section line in the creek and this section line in the creek. Yes. And let's just hit yes. Let's see what happens. There we go. So now you can see that our pictures line up correctly, okay? So now we have 2 overlapping pictures that merge together as if they were one, okay? So I want you to do that with this third one also, all right? So just find out where this guy's supposed to be, which is down here, I believe. Use the align tool, and it probably would be best to hit yes for the scaling to make it more accurate. So yeah, it looks like this is the same place. So this 9 you could use as a reference. And let's see if we can find something on the very bottom. This 21 and that 21 is reference, all right? So we can hit align. Let's align this second one. So let's use this tip of the 1 here with this tip of the 1 there. All right, second source, let's go way the other side so it's a better reference. All right, actually, I'm going to use this little bullseye thing over here. Center of the bullseye, center of the bullseye. Alrighty. Enter Y. Yes. Alrighty. Boom. There we go. So now all three of our pictures are scaled and they're aligned beautifully. Okay. So if you notice that you see these lines around our images and you don't want those lines there when you print, what you can do is go to the properties of the image. So select it, go to properties, and then go to, I think this is it, show clipped boundary, I believe, and then hit no. So change the properties to say no on the boundaries, all right? And maybe it didn't change. Image. Background show clipped. Huh. Oh, wait a sec. Wait a sec. If I select this guy again. Show image. No. Yeah, so this is where you can actually change the transparency. So if you want to have this thinner or brighter or in the background, you can change the brightness, the contrast, the fade to change and modify your background image, which is pretty helpful to have a faded background image. Alrighty. Image frame. Okay, that's how you get rid of the boundary. Okay, so if you want to get rid of the boundaries on all these images, type in the command image frame and change it to 0. And notice as you pan, there are no lines. Basically, there's no frame around our images here. Okay. And so set it up on your 11 by 17. And go ahead and yeah, double click in your viewport here. Make sure it's unlocked so you can actually scroll out. All right. And then you can change this to a reasonable scale. Let's just lock this guy. Let's see what the next step on the instructions I have you do is. Oh, I actually tell you to group the images together. You can do that. So when you select one to move it, they all move as one instead of individually. So you can select all these guys, right click. Maybe you can just type in group actually. Group. So now if you select one of them, all of them are selected. So if you needed to move this guy around, you don't have to move around all of them. They move as one unit. So that's pretty handy. It's a good tool to know. Oops. What else do I have you do on this? Scale the images. Okay, I want you to trace a highway on the map. All right. So State Highway 291, and you draw a polyline using the C Road center end layer. Okay. So I'm going to go to the C Road center end layer. All of these layers were imported with that template. So if you saved your template correctly, you should have all these layers already set up. C Road, what was it? Center. N. Okay, so this is the current layer. And Highway 291, I believe, is the South Fork Road. So go ahead and trace the South Fork Road. All right, 291, there she is. So we are going to trace this guy with a polyline. So go ahead, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of, you know, trace it. If you want to turn this guy into an arc, what you can do is just hit A to go back. Oh, whoops, I used an S. A, enter. So there's my little arc going on. And then I can just go there. And then if I want to go back to a line, just hit L, enter. And you can keep on tracing the highway. We're actually going to use this later. Ooh. Might want to turn off your OSNAP so it doesn't do what mine just did. We're going to use this line later to actually create an alignment. That's basically what they would use in construction in the real world to send surveyors out to map either existing roads or proposed roads or whatever they plan on building or doing to modify the terrain. And this is all based off of this line that we're drawing right here. Tracing the existing road. In reality, they would probably give you a drawing that was previously drawn and you would just be modifying that to your purposes. So go ahead and just keep on tracing until you get to the end of the highway. All right. So this is how you can just take an image. You could probably take an image from Google Earth if you really wanted to. And you can trace the image and draw on it to scale to try to plan something for the future. And that is what drafting is all about. Ready? So yeah, you get the point. Trace the highway. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep on jumping along and skipping this way, 291. I'm not doing the curves now, but you can change those into arcs later. And then the highway pretty much bends here and pretty much ends. So just have it end there. Obviously, I want you to have curves here. I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm just drawing lines. But if you wanted to convert these lines into arcs, you can do that too. You can polyline edit. Oh, maybe not. I think there's a convert to arc. There we go. So if you select you select your polyline and then hover over one of these blue center label things, you can hit convert to arc and then you can just bend it out. And then you can move your little grippy grips wherever you want them to be. So if that is faster, go ahead and do that. Or if you like using that, go ahead. Whatever works best. Alrighty, so you get the idea. I want you to trace the highway. And what else do I have you do? Okay, so it looks like the scale is 6,000 feet. And I want you to add the north arrow and scale bar. Okay. And if your line happens to be behind the image and it doesn't show up correctly, what you can do is select the image, which you may need to zoom out for. So I'm going to select this guy and then go to display order, send to back. So if your images happen to be on top of your line like this, it will be impossible to see your line until you send the image behind the line. Okay, send to back. All right, now you can see my beautiful green highway. So go ahead and set up this guy to the right scale, which is, he said 6,000. So you want to be able to see the entire highway there. Set up our viewport. And if you notice, there is no 6,000 here on our scales, right? So you can hit custom, and then you can hit add. And then we can give it a name. So 1 equals 6,000. Paper units 1. So we want 1 inch on the paper to be 6,000 feet in the drawing. And hit OK. And then you can go back here and select the new one we just created. Boom, 6,000. And you can see the highway. It's beautiful. Lock your viewport. Save that guy. And you can print her off. And that is the end of the assignment for the week. Hopefully it doesn't give you too much trouble and this video explains enough. Let me know if you have any issues. But yeah, if you could just print that off, or if you wanted to print them to a PDF and then send them to me, that would be amazing. Thanks for your time and have a good one.